talking about him as well, Masonabo, right? I just want to say congratulations to him for where he is right now and what
he's doing really dope stuff.
He's doing great stuff, And I think for people like him, when they achieve such standards as well, I think it's also great for the community where he comes from, and for us as well, that try and push ourselves harder. Looking back from where you started, would you do anything differently?
Nanke5 Studio.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah.
But you know what? In hindsight, there are some things that I kind of regret doing, but I don't think that you get it right the first time. And through that you just kind of discover yourself, and I don't think that I would have this knowledge that I have right now if I didn't go through those things. But an advice that I can give to people that I think maybe was my biggest downfall: don't try to do everything at once. It's all good and well to be the jack of all trades, but kind of be an expert in one thing first, and then branch out to other things. Because when I started, I was endorsing everything. I was doing everything, which is good, but when you're gonna be on social media, just kind of know what you're gonna be doing. So now I know that I can do almost everything within fashion, because I'm a fashion content creator. But back then I was a fashion content creator, I was this content creator, I was a food content creator, I was everywhere. So people didn't really know what Naso does and what Naso stands for, So now they know, okay, Naso's for fashion, but I do a lot of things within fashion.
So it's very important to have a clear descriptive thing about who you are, so that the audience know who you are, and when you branch out, they sort of like still really they know the story, and they can sort of like start to engage with what you're doing next, and so on. One thing that kind of like came to my mind as well was how did the Coffee Bean Girl name start?
The most common asked question. I'm actually working on something, a little project of mine, to unpack that Coffee Bean Girl and where the whole idea started. But it started from a small idea of identity, and I thought, okay, what has a strong identity? What has a strong brand? And something in my mind said coffee, because it's got a strong culture. The culture of coffee is very strong. It's very distinct. And then I was like, okay, coffee bean. Oh, that's pretty cool. Also, the melanin in coffee beans. I was just like, okay. I like the sound of that, because I also, through my work, want to have a strong identity, a distinct identity, represent my people, Black people, in the fashion and art space. And that's kind of where it started, and I was like, Coffee Bean. But then when I set up my Instagram, there was already Coffee Bean account, so I was just like, okay, so I'm going to be that Coffee Bean. But that Coffee Bean didn't make sense. I was like, okay, that Coffee Bean Girl, that makes sense. So that's where it kind of started.
I remember doing the same thing when I opened my first Instagram account. I was very late, so I didn't know this thing. When I tapped in Amos, and there was like 10,000 Amoses. What? What's going on? Why so many names? But, we wanted to know as well, right? What's your least favorite and most favorites about creating content?
Okay. The least favorite, I'd say, is production costs. My goodness.
I was about to ask, actually.
It's crazy. yeah, you guys know, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Equipment,
Yes.
just everything is just expensive. And the time also,
Yeah.
you spend a lot of time creating content
Editing.
to kind of
Yeah.
get that 1 minute video for Instagram. You know what I mean?
I can
It takes
imagine.
the whole day.
Yes. Yeah.
And a lot of background stuff. So I think my least favorite thing is the production costs.
Yeah.
Because for me, I like to work with a lot of props. So that needs money,
Definitely.
which I don't have.
For sure.
So that's my least favorite thing, but it's quite rewarding
Yeah, yeah.
when you see the final product. You're just like, okay, this is cool.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
it's my
Rewards
least
paying
favorite
off.
thing, but kind of my favorite thing as
Yeah,
well, because
yeah.
the entire production is quite awesome. My favorite thing about content creation would be the conceptualizing part. I love conceptualizing. I love, I'll be sleeping.
Yeah.
Well, not really sleeping, but in bed, and I'll have this idea, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then I'll start conceptualizing, researching, expanding the idea.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
favorite part. I
That's
love
great.
writing campaigns. I
Yeah.
love writing a story, a narrative around what I'm gonna do,
Alright.
because I want my content to tell a story, to
Yeah.
communicate something, to educate.
Yes.
So I think that's my favorite part.
And when we're talking about equipment, for example, I want to start. Can you give me any certain tools I can get? Do I need to get an expensive camera, or can I just get a cell phone and
No,
a couple of?
I don't
know.
think. And when you're starting out, honestly speaking, you do not have the money.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if you do, that's great.
Okay.
But if you don't have the finances for that great camera, you can really just use your phone. Use your phone. A trick that I still do, because I haven't bought this specific thing,
Yeah.
for if you want to do a backdrop, you can use a bed sheet, or you go to your
Do a bit of
your
DIY.
fabric store and
Yeah.
just get a 2-meter fabric. Just paste it on
Yes,
your
yes,
wall
yeah,
with
yeah.
duct tape or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and that's going to be your backdrop. You pile up books, put your phone on there, and that's your tripod. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, you don't
yeah.
need to have
all these expensive
all
stuff.
these things when you're starting out. Just use what you have,
Yeah.
and then kind of build it from there.
Yeah. No, great. Talking about creating stuff, there's a lot of we on the other side. You on the other side of the page, you on the other side. We have a moment where we comment on your work or whatever that you put on YouTube videos, and sometimes it's negative comments. How do you deal about that?
Man, social media can be a cruel space.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
for
mean?
sure. Yeah.
And some people kind of forget that you're human, so people just say anything they want to say. But I think it's very important to also block the noise. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't really listen much to what people are saying,
Yes.
especially the negative comments.
Yeah.
Because some people really don't come from a good place. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
So I think it's very important to know when to block the noise. And we all have our share of
Yes,
backlash
for
on
sure,
social media and negative
yes,
comments. But yeah, it's very important to just block the noise.
True. Well, I don't think I've had any negative comments coming.
Oh, lucky
through.
you.
I think one thing is I don't put too much content anywhere that much, so I don't really engage a lot. So,
Okay.
but yeah, and just looking at for those who want to break into the industry, I don't know what you call in the industry, but want to get themselves into being a creative person. I guess we call them newbies. Do you have any good advice or the last advice you could give it to them or share with them and say, guys, stepping stone one, try to do this. Stepping stone 2, try to do this.
Well, you know, a friend of mine said the other day that in the space that we are in right now, in the world that we're living in right now, we are no longer wanting a seat at the table.
Okay.
We are creating our own tables.
All right.
You know, that is an inclusive space. You know, that is a diverse space.
Jeez.
And I think that's very key to have in mind. Oh, Nandi Miso said this. Nandi.
Yeah.
I think you know Nandi. Yeah, you know Nandi. Nandi said this. I was like, oh girl, that's so true.
Yeah. She's fine, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think, you know, right now we're not doing, you know, the traditional jobs. We are creating our own jobs.
Yes,
We're creating our own space.
Yeah.
So I'd say use your interests to make you money.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
sell who you are to make you money.
Okay.
You know, be authentic. Do what you want to do.
Okay.
Because that's exactly what's happening right now. You know, with me as well. I don't really know what I'm doing, or like I don't really know how to box it. Well, I don't want to box it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I am using my talents and interests to build a career, and I think every single person should do that. And if you want to be a content creator, think and have an honest conversation with yourself and say, okay, what do I like? What do I enjoy doing? Not what is everyone doing. You know, create your own table so that you can also build, you know, some sort of community and also archives for the upcoming generation. Do you know what I mean? Because I know that a lot of, and I mean us Black creatives now, a lot of our history has been erased. You know, we don't have much archives to say, oh, hey, in this space, this is a Black person doing this. You know, even if you Google some stuff, you don't even know what to Google actually. So I think I love content creation because you get to document everything that we do, you know, and that also serve as an archive for the upcoming generation, that serves as you know, what can I say, what's the word? Role models. Okay, let me say role models. Role models for the upcoming generation, so they can see that, okay, there are these kind of safe spaces, and I can be myself within the art industry. I can be myself within the design and fashion space, you know, and I think that's very, very important. So literally do whatever the hell you want to do, because there's a space for that, and there's a safe space rather for that. Yeah.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that concludes our podcast today.
Oh, geez, that was
Thanks
quick.
so much for, So, Nessa, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. 9K5.
9K5. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's, you know, it's going to be a long journey, you know, as we collaborate and work together, and I'm hoping for prosperity along the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, guys, that was 9K5 Studio. My name is Mr. Amos, your one and only, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, guys. That Coffee Bean Girl. Follow me.
Cheers.
Thank you.